Greetings, fellow time travelers. Welcome back to Secrets of the Ancients, where we unlock the most incredible mysteries of lost civilizations. I'm your archaeological guide, ready to transport you 4,000 years into the past to witness events so extraordinary they've shaped human history forever. Today, we're diving deep into the hidden secrets of ancient Egypt. But this isn't the Egypt you learned about in school. We're about to reveal the untold stories, the forbidden knowledge, and the mind-bending mysteries that ancient scribes whispered only in the shadows of the Great Pyramids. Before we embark on this incredible journey through time, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, the secrets we're about to unveil will challenge everything you thought you knew about the land of the pharaohs. Picture this scene with me. Complete darkness, absolute void. Nothing exists except the infinite waters of chaos called none. But then, something miraculous happens that will birth an entire civilization. From this primordial darkness emerges Ra, the sun god, not just any deity but the master architect of reality itself. With a single thought, Ra creates the first piece of solid ground called the Benben stone. This isn't just mythology, fellow explorers. Recent archaeological discoveries have found actual Benben stones in ancient temples, proving these weren't just stories but core religious beliefs. But here's where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. Ra doesn't create randomly. He follows a precise cosmic plan. First, he breathes out Shu, the god of air, and spits out Tefnut, the goddess of moisture. These two divine beings become the pillars separating heaven from earth, the first example of ancient Egyptian engineering principles. What happens next is pure genius. Shu and Tefnut give birth to Geb, the earth god, and Nut, the sky goddess. But here's the twist that even modern scientists find fascinating. The Egyptians envisioned the sky as a woman arched over the earth, with stars decorating her body. This wasn't primitive thinking. It was sophisticated astronomical observation. Now, here's a secret that will blow your mind. Every single night, Ra embarks on a journey so dangerous it makes any modern adventure movie look like child's play. We're talking about the ultimate supernatural thriller, Ra's passage through the Duat, the Egyptian underworld. Imagine the most luxurious boat ever built, decorated with gold and precious stones, carrying the sun god through underground rivers filled with mythical creatures. But this isn't a pleasure cruise, fellow mystery hunters. This is a battle for the survival of the world itself. The most terrifying enemy Ra faces is Apophis, a colossal serpent of chaos. Picture a snake so massive it could wrap around entire cities, with scales black as midnight and eyes burning with malevolent fire. Every night, this monster tries to devour the sun and plunge the world into eternal darkness. But here's what's absolutely incredible. Recent archaeological evidence shows that ancient Egyptians built elaborate underground chambers and tunnels that mirror this mythological journey. Were they trying to help Ra in his nightly battle? The answer might shock you. Fellow time detectives, prepare yourselves for the most epic battle in ancient history. A conflict so intense it shook the very foundations of the Egyptian world. This isn't just a family feud. It's the ultimate showdown between order and chaos, light and darkness, justice and tyranny. Here's the setup. Osiris, the righteous king, has been murdered by his jealous brother Set. Now Osiris's son Horus must reclaim his birthright. But Set isn't giving up without the fight of the millennium. Picture this incredible scene. Horus transforms into a magnificent falcon and soars through the skies at lightning speed, while Set unleashes devastating storms and hurricane-force winds. The Nile River overflows, desert sands create massive whirlwinds, and the very earth trembles under the force of their cosmic battle. But here's the archaeological bombshell. In the Temple of Edfu, carved stone reliefs show these exact battles in stunning detail. These weren't just stories. They were historical records of religious ceremonies where priests reenacted these cosmic conflicts. The battle reaches its climax in a final confrontation where Horus, protected by his mother Isis's powerful magic, finally defeats Set and claims his rightful place as pharaoh. This victory doesn't just restore order to Egypt, it establishes the divine right of all future pharaohs. Ancient seekers, what I'm about to tell you is one of history's most shocking betrayals, a murder so calculated and brutal it makes any modern crime thriller pale in comparison. Osiris, beloved by his people, rules Egypt with wisdom and justice. His green skin symbolizes the life-giving power of the Nile floods, and under his reign, the land prospers like never before. But lurking in the shadows is his brother Set, consumed by jealousy and plotting the perfect crime. Here's how Set executes his diabolical plan. He throws a lavish banquet and presents an ornate sarcophagus, claiming it's a gift for whoever fits perfectly inside. One by one, guests try their luck, but the sarcophagus is secretly designed for Osiris alone. When the unsuspecting king lies down, Set's accomplices slam the lid shut and throw the sealed coffin into the Nile. But the story takes an incredible turn when Isis, Osiris's devoted wife, embarks on one of history's greatest rescue missions. She searches throughout Egypt and beyond, finally discovering the coffin trapped in a tree in the city of Byblos. Using her magical powers, she temporarily resurrects Osiris. But Set isn't finished with his evil schemes. In an act of unspeakable brutality, Set dismembers Osiris's body into 14 pieces and scatters them across Egypt. What happens next showcases the incredible determination of Isis. She searches the entire kingdom, gathering every piece, and through powerful magic brings Osiris back to life as the eternal ruler of the underworld. Fellow mystery hunters, we're now entering one of the most secretive and magical locations in all of Egyptian mythology, the hidden marshes where the future savior of Egypt comes into the world. Picture the Nile Delta's remote marshes, dense vegetation, hidden waterways, and an atmosphere charged with ancient magic. This becomes Isis's secret sanctuary, where she hides from Set's hunting parties while carrying the future pharaoh in her womb. The marshes aren't just a hiding place, they're a living fortress. The thick papyrus reeds provide camouflage, the crocodiles and hippos serve as natural guardians, and the very air hums with protective magic. Here, surrounded by nature's own security system, Horus is born under a full moon that illuminates the scene like a divine spotlight. But here's what makes this absolutely incredible. Archaeological excavations in the Nile Delta have uncovered numerous amulets and religious artifacts depicting Horus as a child in marsh settings. This suggests these weren't just myths, but represented real religious practices and sacred locations. As Horus grows up in this magical environment, he learns the secrets of nature itself. The marsh becomes his classroom, teaching him the skills he'll need to defeat Set and reclaim his throne. Every creature, every plant, every element of this watery world prepares him for his destined confrontation with evil. Ancient civilization explorers, prepare to witness one of history's most crucial moments, the creation of the pharaoh system that would rule Egypt for 3,000 years. This isn't just political history, it's divine intervention that shaped an entire civilization. Before Isis's intervention, Egypt was chaos, tribes scattered across the land without unified leadership, laws, or organization. The goddess, with her infinite wisdom, realizes that mortals need divine guidance to reach their full potential. Enter Menes, a humble shepherd who tends his flocks along the Nile's banks. But Isis, with her supernatural vision, sees something extraordinary in this simple man, the spark of greatness that could unite all of Egypt under one crown. Here's where it gets absolutely fascinating. For several nights, Isis appears to Menes in prophetic dreams, teaching him the arts of leadership, justice, and warfare. She reveals ancient secrets, strategic knowledge, and the divine wisdom needed to forge a unified kingdom. But this isn't just mythology, fellow time travelers. Archaeological evidence shows that the historical Menes, also known as Narmer, really existed and accomplished exactly what these myths describe, unifying Upper and Lower Egypt around 3100 BCE, becoming the first pharaoh of the first dynasty. Under Isis's divine guidance, Menes launches a brilliant campaign of diplomacy and conquest, creating alliances with some tribes and defeating others who resist unification. The result? The birth of one of history's greatest civilizations, with a pharaoh system that connected earthly rulers directly to the gods themselves. Time detectives, what I'm about to reveal will absolutely blow your mind. We're witnessing the creation of the most important river in human history, not through natural geological processes, but through divine engineering that makes any modern megaproject look like child's play. Picture this incredible scene. The Egyptian desert stretches endlessly in all directions, a wasteland where nothing can survive. The gods, watching their human creations suffer in this harsh environment, convene the greatest cosmic council ever assembled. Their mission? create a life-giving waterway that will transform a barren desert into the cradle of civilization. Ra, the sun god, uses his divine light to trace the river's course from distant mountains to the Mediterranean Sea. Nut, the sky goddess, opens the celestial floodgates and pours her tears to fill this cosmic channel. But here's the genius part. Isis infuses the water with magical properties that can heal, nourish, and bring life to everything it touches. The transformation is instantaneous and miraculous. Desert blooms into lush farmland, animals flock to the riverbanks, and humans build the first settlements along its shores. The Nile doesn't just provide water, it becomes the highway, the calendar, the god, and the very heartbeat of Egyptian civilization. But here's the archaeological bombshell that connects mythology to reality. Recent geological studies confirm that the Nile's course has remained remarkably stable for thousands of years, almost as if it were deliberately designed. Ancient Egyptian texts consistently refer to the river as the gift of the gods, and now we understand why. Chapter 8. The Ultimate Judgment Day. Weighing Hearts Against Truth. Fellow explorers of ancient mysteries, prepare to witness the most dramatic courtroom scene in history, not in any earthly court, but in the cosmic hall of two truths, where every soul faces the ultimate judgment. Picture this incredible scene. A vast hall illuminated by ethereal light, with walls covered in hieroglyphs that seem to move and speak. In the center stands the most important scale ever created, the balance of Ma'at, where hearts are weighed against the feather of absolute truth. Here's how this mind-blowing process works. Anubis, the jackal-headed god of mummification, carefully removes the heart of each deceased soul and places it on one side of the scale. On the other side rests a single ostrich feather representing Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice. This isn't just symbolic, ancient seekers. This feather represents the weight of every lie, every cruel act, every moment of injustice in a person's life. But here's where it gets absolutely terrifying. If the heart weighs more than the feather, meaning it's heavy with sin and wrongdoing, the soul faces immediate destruction by Ammit the Devourer, a creature with the head of a crocodile, the torso of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus. This isn't just death, it's complete obliteration from existence. However, souls whose hearts balance perfectly with Ma'at's feather earn eternal paradise in the field of reeds, where they live forever in perfect happiness alongside Osiris himself. Archaeological evidence shows this wasn't just mythology. Mummy preparation techniques specifically preserved the heart while removing other organs, proving ancient Egyptians literally believed in this cosmic judgment system. Mystery hunters, we're about to witness the birth of one of humanity's most sophisticated preservation techniques, a process so advanced that modern science still marvels at its effectiveness 4,000 years later. In the sacred temples dedicated to Anubis, the jackal-headed god of mummification oversees humanity's first attempts at conquering death itself. This isn't just burial preparation, fellow time travelers. This is cutting-edge biotechnology disguised as religious ritual. Picture this incredible scene. The temple workshops buzz with activity as master embalmers, trained in secrets passed down through generations, begin the 70-day process of transformation. The body is first washed in Nile water, then carefully opened with obsidian knives sharper than modern surgical instruments. Here's what makes this absolutely fascinating. The embalmers remove specific organs with surgical precision. The liver, lungs, stomach, and intestines are each placed in separate canopic jars protected by different gods. But here's the mind-blowing part. They leave the heart in place because they believe it contains the soul's essence needed for the afterlife judgment. The body is then packed with natron salt, a naturally occurring preservative that removes all moisture over 40 days. After this dehydration process, the corpse is stuffed with linen, sawdust, and aromatic spices, then wrapped in hundreds of meters of linen bandages. Recent scientific analysis of Egyptian mummies reveals preservation so effective that we can still identify diseases, determine diet, and even extract DNA after millennia. This wasn't primitive ritual. It was sophisticated chemistry that successfully achieved the ultimate goal: physical immortality. Until our next archaeological adventure, keep exploring, keep questioning, and remember, the past is never truly buried. It's just waiting for curious minds like yours to uncover its secrets. This has been Secrets of the Ancients, where ancient mysteries